Hello and welcome to the Random Wrestling Review. Our local to global series just keeps on keeping on, and we are in May of 2001. We've just done May of the Jackal, which has a little news story here which says that the feedback has been awesome. The small company has outshone some of the bigger companies' recent efforts, and I think that is fair because we just continually are getting show ratings are around this amount, which is obviously way bigger than our size at this time. And it was headlined by A Steel and CM Punk, and A Steel won the match against CM Punk with the help of Kimo. But after the match, Kimo told A Steel that he is not interested in the agreement that Steel has done with Bruce Hart, and therefore he is going to take his title shot at the Lottery Brawl show, which is the event, sorry, that we're going to be bringing you in today's episode. And the Lottery Brawl happens once a year. I couldn't find it then for a second. And just checking the availability, everybody's ready for this one. So that's great news. Now, we've got a few bits of business to take care of. First of all, Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge, both now unhappy with me. Well, that's fine, because we are going to release both. We no longer need Rocco Rock, and we no longer need Johnny Grunge. They've served their purpose. They've been around actually for sort of 6 months or so, which is way more than I intended. They were just really in to do a one-off, one-shot deal. I think way back at Seasons Beatings possibly, but that's no longer required. Kimo meanwhile is not happy, so I was going to try and keep him happy by, can I give him a week off? Yeah, I'm going to give him a week off. See what happens if we give him a week off. We've got the time, so off he goes. He's still angry, but maybe that just keeps him a little bit happier. We do not want what happened to Jim Neidhart to happen to Kimo. Kimo has been a long time member of our roster. 55 matches in total he's had with the company. And of course, he's set to face Chris Harris at the Lottery Brawl in one of the two big matches that are going to take place at that show. So let's just go forward a week, because I want to just check in with Kimo at the end of that week. I don't want him to... This is what happened last time. Is Jim Neidhart came back off his holiday and then left us. In fairness, Jim Neidhart had major morale issues. Kimo just got big morale issues, so hopefully he won't be too angry to just stick around. And that's not good. Okay, that's fine. It's just the save. We've had a few error messages with this game during this series, but that was not really a problem at that time. And yeah, let's look at the rankings then, because this is the situation we've got. So Chris Harris is champion. A Steel, Barry Buchanan, Kimo, and Billy Kidman were originally bound by the agreement between A Steel and Bruce Hart, which was to say that all members of the Rebellion would defer their title shots until such time as Chris Harris was to lose the title belt. And in fact, they could, even in a kind of money in the bank situation type deal, the one who had the most points come the time Harris lost the title would be eligible to just immediately face whoever beat Chris Harris for the title. But Kimo has said that he's not interested, so A Steel and Barry Buchanan have deferred their title shots. Charlie Haas continues to be in a position where he hasn't won a match in 6 months. That's because he was injured for 6 months, and then on top of that has yet to win a match since he's been back. But Kimo, who would be next in line and who would usually have deferred at this point, decided he's not going to defer. He wants his title shot, and so he's kind of going against the wishes of the rest of the Rebellion. Although there does appear to be some sympathy from the Rebellion leader A Steel towards Kimo, who's taking this title shot, given that they were two of the original members of this stable and have been together for I think about 2 years now. So that's the first week done. I assume, well, he's not back yet. So let's go to the next player controlled show and hope for the best. So that's the situation in terms of the rankings. You can carry on a bit further down. CM Punk and Buddy Wayne have got 6 points. Billy Kidman on 5. Phantasma, TJ Wilson, Mark Henry, Dave Batista, and Sean Stasiak all have 3. Rocco Rock and Johnny Grunge had 2. This is obviously before I released them. Brock Lesnar has 1. Obviously, he came in and debuted last month. Actually, in the last show, not last month. And Teddy Hart has 1 point as well. If One Man Gang re-debuted in the company in the last show, at whatever the May of the Jackal, I think it was called. He attacked Batista, but he hasn't yet had a match in his return. He only had 4 matches in his original stint with the company, and before he was signed to another company on an exclusive deal. And they've got Rex King and CW Anderson are also on 0 points. So Yeah, lots going on as we head into the Lottery Brawl. We've got this big match between Chris Harris and Kimo, and of course the 15-man Lottery Brawl match itself, with all of those people vying in the rankings, vying to win, because you get 5 points for the Lottery Brawl victory, which could be very, very, very favourable to a number of individuals in this ranking system. I mean, actually, anybody down to I can't even figure it out because we've got so many agreements here. But certainly, you'd say anyone down to about Sean Stasiak would have a real chance of being very close to a title shot, if not getting the next title shot, if indeed they won the Lottery Brawl. So it's a very valuable victory, the Lottery Brawl. We've had Roddy Piper won the first ever Lottery Brawl. In fact, let's just have a quick look at the history of this. Roddy Piper won the first ever Lottery Brawl. Then we had the Shadow, which was James Storm, win it in '99, and then Kimo won it last year. So Kimo, who's going for the title this year, won the Lottery Brawl last time. Kimo's returned to the company. Charlie Haas, Brock Lesnar's going to be a star. Well, I think we all know that. I think that might have been in the last. I think we already had that piece of news anyway. But yes, Kimo is back, ready to go for the Lottery Brawl. Now, what I was going to say, actually, interestingly, before we go any further, is that Kimo, I think, holds the record for the number of title shots of any wrestler in the company. So he had 4 in his first stint. Then you remember he went away for a bit. He then has had since then 2 more. So I think this is going to be his 8th title shot coming up at this pay-per-view. This next event. So a record, an unwanted record really, because he's never been able to win the title. But he's had more title shots than anybody else. He's not had more title matches. I think that probably the record is probably Dave Bautista for that. But in terms of title shots, I think Kimo's had more than anybody else. So it's the Lottery Brawl, and let's start with the opening match. In fact, we're not going to start with the opening match. We're going to have a little angle where Ace Steel, who obviously didn't have time to respond on the last show, I said Ace Steel showed some kind of sense of, feeling like he had some sympathy for Kimo. What I meant is that's what he's going to say in this promo. But Kimo did seem to say, like, I still respect you, Ace Steel, but I want this title shot. So here we've got Ace Steel and Kimo, and Ace Steel is going to say, he's going to ask Kimo not to break the agreement. Kimo tells him he's doing it. That's the short version. The long version is that basically Ace Steel comes out and says that he also respects Kimo, understands why he's frustrated, understands why he might want to take this title shot, but he wants Kimo to think about it. They've ridden together for a long time now. They've been in the Rebellion for an awful long time. In fact, I can tell you exactly how long if I look at this. The Rebellion have been in place since September '99, so nearly 2 years. And they've been together for 2 years. And he tells him, we need to keep together. We're in a better place than we've ever been. Kimo's going to come out and says that he just cannot countenance holding off on taking a title shot for the man that they originally formed the Rebellion to go against, Bruce Hart. And so Kimo is going to take his title shot. Then the match itself is going to see Chris Harris against Kimo. Big title match, of course. I mean, there's 12 minutes, I think, this time. Northwest title on the line. But Chris Harris retains the title. And by pinfall. I think we might have to make this storytelling, actually, because we do need one, I think, on every single show that we do. Kimo's extremely unhappy, so I've got to keep him strong here. Hopefully, though, he'll accept losing with these extra provisions in place. Yes, he will. That's fine. Then after the match, Billy Kidman, in fact, we'll have this as an acting segment, I think, is going to have a go at Kimo, basically. In fact, we'll have Kidman on the mic here. Barry Buchanan also kind of there as well, and Ace Steel just in the background kind of thing. So what's going to happen here is Billy Kidman, after match, Kidman gets in Kimo's face, can't type today apparently, and tells him he broke ranks with the rest of them. So Kimo having a go at Kimo here for breaking ranks, not living up to the agreement. He tells Kimo that now who knows what the situation is in regards to the agreement with Bruce Hart, and presumably Ace Steel will have to go and renegotiate the agreement with him because of the fact that Kimo took the title shot and then lost as well. So didn't even kind of win the gamble, because if he'd have won the match, right, it wouldn't the agreement wouldn't have mattered. They would have the title, but ultimately he failed, and Billy Kidman has a go at him for doing so. So once again, there is question over the future of the rebellion, and actually I'm thinking about, we'll remove Kimo from. Did we remove Kimo from this? We got Buddy Wayne and Billy Kidman in a feud anyway. I think we'll keep that going, actually, even though this is not quite part of that story, really. This is a sort of side plot, really, for the rebellion, as they are just in a little bit of problem at the moment. They're not happy with one another, certainly. So let's go to, I should have a 15-man lottery brawl somewhere on here. Why can't I find it? I'm sure I made a lottery brawl. There it is, 15-man lottery brawl. Can never find that match. So, who's in this then? Well, pretty much everybody else. So, Ace Steel, Barry Buchanan, Billy Kidman, Brock Lesnar, Buddy Wayne, Charlie Haas, CM Punk, C.W. Anderson, Dave Batista, Phantasma, Mark Henry. One Man Gang's not going to be in it, I don't think. Rex King, Sean Stasiak, Teddy Hart, and T.J. Wilson. So the only person not competing is One Man Gang. Everybody else is in it, all with a chance to win those 5 big rankings points. We'll make this 37 minutes. Open match and slow build. And what's going to happen here? First of all, we're going to have some outside interference. Can we just, yeah, there he is. So the outside interference here is going to be that One Man Gang. Why can't I? Oh, what's going on here? We haven't got One Man Gang. Where's One Man Gang? Everybody's available, so why? Confused. I can't, for some reason, I can't find One Man Gang. Maybe that was just because I was just trying to find him in the wrong box, which is entirely possible. So Dave Batista is going to be attacked by One Man Gang. That's what's going to happen. I was looking in the wrong box. Apologies. I'm sure people were shouting at the screen going, "You idiot, it's right in front of you. You're just trying to select One Man Gang from the wrong drop down." Anyway, so One Man Gang is going to interfere to take Batista out effectively. We're going to have a whole group of people take out Brock Lesnar. So he's going to be, I'll give him the most eliminations, I think, in the match. But the whole group of people are going to take him out. The winner is going to be Phantasma. Only been in the company a couple of months, but he, undefeated at this point, is going to win this match. Now, in terms of the last few people in the match, because this also matters in terms of who's happy for this to be the case, I think we'll make the runner-up. We'll make that. We want this to be a heel. I think we'll make it Ace Steel, actually. That's quite a good one. And in the final, we'll have Sean Stasiak, and also, so this is like kind of Final Four territory we're talking about here. Let's have Charlie Haas in the final. No, let's have CM Punk, sorry, in the Final Four. And then most eliminations we've got is Brock Lesnar. Iron Man will make CM Punk as well. Now, someone might not be happy with that. No, everyone's happy with it. They all accepted their place there. So that's what we're going to do, actually. And we haven't booked enough minutes. So I think we'll just up this by a minute just to get us to our target. Booking analysis is that, yes, the title. We always forget that part. Just to make sure that that's in place. Cool. Okay, so that's everything we need. So we've got 2 matches, of course. 15. The Lottery Brawl always has less matches than usual because the main event is a big match, of course, with the winner getting 5 points, and that winner is going to be Phantasma. So I think we're ready to go with the 15-man Lottery Brawl. And in front of 181 people in the Marshall Center, Ace Steel comes out to start the show, and he asks Kimo not to take the title shot against Chris Harris tonight, not to break the agreement that he's got with Bruce Hart. That means the Rebellion will defer their title shots until such time as Chris Harris loses the belt. And Kimo comes out and tells Ace Steel that he respects him. He doesn't want to make a deal between them. He doesn't want this to be a beef between them. They've been riding for nearly 2 years now together as a group, as the Rebellion. They were two of the founder members. But he tells Ace Steel that the original point that they put in place to make the Rebellion was to go against Bruce Hart, the leader, the owner of the Random Wrestling Review. And he says that he cannot countenance holding off on taking a title shot for one of the Rebellion, let alone 3 now members of the Rebellion, for the man that they originally made this group to come together against. So Kimo's going to take his title shot. A segment rating of 42 here, as these two kind of have a respectful but disagreement ultimately. Then the title match itself, and Chris Harris wins in 13 minutes and 23 seconds by pinfall. His 4th defense of the Northwest title, segment rating of 45. Both performed reasonably well. Harris was a 46, Kimo a 44. A good title match between these two, no doubt about it. Then after that match, out comes Billy Kidman and Barry Buchanan and Ace Steel. Billy Kidman grabs a microphone and gets in the face of Kimo and tells Kimo that he just broke ranks with the rest of the Rebellion. He says that he doesn't care about what they originally put the group together for. The point is they don't break ranks, they don't turn on each other, they don't kind of take advantage of a situation where both Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan are holding off on their title shots. And he tells Kimo that he's let the rest of them down. Barry Buchanan's kind of stood behind Billy Kidman, also angry but not saying anything, whilst Ace Steel watches on with a little bit of concern about the potential for the Rebellion to fall apart here as Kidman gets in Kimo's face. Segment rating of 44, and that is the end of this segment. So we go into the Lottery Brawl, and it is a 48 rated match with Phantasma winning the Lottery Brawl in 37 minutes 29 seconds. The final 4 were Ace Steel, CM Punk and Shawn Stasiak. Ace Steel was the final elimination. Brock Lesnar got the most eliminations over the course of the match. CM Punk set the record for surviving the longest. And during the match we also had One Man Gang run in and attack Batista. So that's kind of to keep their story. And every one of the storylines was progressed here, with one of them gaining heat. Kidman was off his game, so was Phantasma, which is a real shame. Really off his game for this match where he was going to win a major victory. Segment rating of 48 as Phantasma wins the Lottery Brawl. And that means an overall rating of 47 for this show. Everything above 40, though nothing like in that 50 category, which is definitely where we are now in terms of our top level performances. But nonetheless, this was pretty good. I think we're going to give Kimo and Chris Harris some praise. I think I'll also give Ace Steel some praise for his... No, in fact, no, I can't give Ace Phantasma some praise because he was off his game. I usually give the winner of the Lottery Brawl some praise, but in this case, I think Phantasma perhaps didn't earn it. And sad news in our wrestling world, because Gordon Solie has passed away on this Tuesday, week 4 of May 2001. I don't know if that coincides with when he actually passed away, but he has now in this game passed away. So that's Gordon Solie. And that was the Lottery Brawl. Let's just have a look at what that's done to us in terms of top 100s and whatnot. So the Lottery Brawl 11th this time around, 47 rating, 11th best show. In terms of matches, none of them were in that. None of them were at that level. The Lottery Brawl itself was here, 24th best match of all time. And I think that the title match won't be too far down, you would think, because it was reasonably decent, if not like as a top level match. There it is, Chris Harris defeated Kimo, 41st best match, so that's where they land. In terms of attendances, we're not getting to this level again. I was considering actually making the Lottery Brawl a free event this year. I failed to do that in the end, but I did think about it. And we're going to move on. We're going to move on with the game world. 24 now in terms of our popularity, so we continue to move up towards 35, which is where we're trying to get to be a small company, but that feels like still quite a long way in the future. So let's move on to the end of the current month. and then we can start preparing for the first of 2 shows we've got in June coming up. And I can tell you now that the main event of our first show, or next show, is going to be Phantasma taking his title shot against Chris Harris. Harris, of course, the champion. Phantasma just won the Lottery Brawl. And if you look at our rankings, well, what that does for Phantasma is it moves him way up on 8 points, which is the same as Kimo just had. And of course, Kimo lost his match. None of the others won below him. So Phantasma now, in terms of Ace Steel, Barry Buchanan, and Charlie Haas, Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan bound by that agreement. Charlie Haas still hasn't won a match in 6 months. It means Phantasma is now the number 1 contender below those 3, and he's going to take his title shot at the next event. So it'll be Chris Harris versus Phantasma in the main event of the next show. We're also going to have Dave Batista versus the One Man Gang, and a tag team title match as the Calgary Connection, who won the number 1 contenders 3-way match at the May of the Jackal show, will face Ace Steel and Barry Buchanan for those titles. Let's have a look at the news here. Shawn Stasiak changes his style. He's now a regular wrestler. Okay. Fine. WCW Slamboree 2001 main event. Scott Hall defeated Randy Savage. No world title on the line here. Ric Flair not defending. Meanwhile, Blue Bloods defeated Rico Suave and Disco Inferno to retain the WCW World Tag Team titles. A 73 rated show. I mean, they are staying at this sort of level, right? Their show ratings are always about 71, 72, 73-ish, which is where their popularity is. So they're probably just about holding on to their current level of popularity and not going any lower. But WWE are just miles ahead of them, and it wouldn't shock me if you've got like UWA, ECW, some of the others. I mean, look at the top level, CMML. Let's have a look at for example, one of their last big shows. They got kind of these sort of 78 rated show here, 79, 74. So they're about the same, possibly a few points higher than WCW in terms of the quality of their shows. ECW, WrestlePalooza, okay, that was only 69. 74 for Barely Legal, 73 for Living Dangerously. Okay, so they're just a bit lower than WCW, you'd say, in terms of quality. And then WWC, 71, 74. Okay, so they're about parallel in terms of quality to WCW at the moment. So WCW are not going to lose their place as the second best promotion in the world just yet. But yeah, it does feel like they've kind of meandered around the level of popularity they are for quite some time now, and it doesn't feel like that's going to change anytime soon. Let's look at our finances. They're very healthy. We made $4,700 last month. Now that's the kind of figure where I start to look at it and go, right, we can potentially start to afford some of those production quality upgrades that we need to get ourselves on television, because that's got to be our next goal, right, is to get ourselves on television as soon as we can. Sponsorship money's still going up, which means that the economy must still be going well, but the wrestling industry is still falling. It's at 2 and 4, and it's absolutely tanked, the wrestling industry. We really need that to come up for our attendances. So that's not the best. But yeah, we've got a show in just we haven't got a show actually. We haven't even booked it. So let's book our next show. We're going to have a show on Monday, not Tuesday, Monday, week 2 of June. It is going to be a special. I'm close to starting to put everything as 2 hours because we've got the roster for it now, and we are at a level of popularity where I feel like that's a bit more acceptable now. But what is our next show going to be? Let's just see what the game comes up with, shall we? Let's just check actually first of all that we've got. Yeah, man, everyone's available Monday week 2. Dead Cert, no, I don't think that's what we want. Night of Champions, Sick and Twisted, Night of Mayhem. Should we just call it? No, we're not going to call it Mayhem, because that would be a May show. We've already called a show Mayhem. Battle Pack, Delivery, Kayfabe Memorial Show. It's actually quite funny. Golden Dreams, Thunderkiss, WrestlePocalypse, I Wanna Rock, Crazy Crazy Nights, Perfect Crime, Path to Greatness, Living for Today, Decimation, Big Trouble. I think we'll just make it Struggle. RWR Struggle. No, I don't like that. One Wild Night, Retaliation. Anything, nothing, there's no theme, is there? Day Zero, Firecracker, Resolution, The Damned, Kings of Spandex, Fatal Fury, Featured Attraction. Oh, there's just nothing, is there? Like, you could use any of them or none of them. You know what I mean? They're all really poor. I haven't even got anything in my reserves. Actually, you know what? I'm going to call it Pushing the Senses. This is an album title by Feeder, and I just thought, well, it sounds like it could be a wrestling show. There's a couple of albums in my head actually that we could use in the future, so we may do that. But Pushing the Senses is our next show in 7 days' time, and there is somebody we want to actually make a hiring ahead of the next show, although it's not a particularly significant one, and that is that we want to find somebody to come in to be a jobber, effectively. So we want someone reasonably cheap. I mean, Aaron Aguilera would do it, to be honest. Yeah, I'm willing to bring him in, to be honest, to do this. Cool, let's do it. Aaron Aguilera will come in. Actually, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make him one appearance. Yeah. Okay. Hopefully that will be better because I don't intend to use him again, but it will just be a chance to get somebody else onto the roster to do the job that I want them to do. And we may as well use the first guy that showed up on the list. So should we push this game forward? I guess we should until the next player-controlled show, and this just gives me a few moments to ask you if you've enjoyed today's episode. Then please hit the like button. And if you've not already done so, hit the subscribe button and join us on this journey, which is still showing no signs of abating. I've been saying that now for about 40 episodes. We are all the way going as far as we possibly can. Aaron Aguilera comes in. And, oh, hang on. Let's just have a look at this. Animal title win. Defeated Sting for the Intercontinental title. Road Warrior Animal defeated Sting for the Intercontinental title. Meanwhile, underneath that, Owen Hart and Yokozuna defeated the Midnight Stars in a 99 rated match. The Midnight Stars are Ahmed Johnson and Goldust, or Dustin Rhodes and Tony Norris, as they've been listed here. Cool. So it's an expert controlled show. Yes, if you are not already subscribed, then that's amazing. But yeah, we've been going for so long, and I think this series is still going to continue to go on for some time. I've got quite a lot in my head at the moment that leads us at it's certain in a kind of vague way leads us to the end of August, effectively, and maybe one of the reasons I'm specifically thinking ahead is that show at the end of August will actually be our 100th event, and I really I really want to kind of make that a big deal because it is our 100th event, so it just feels like something that we should make a big deal of. Let's just have a look at what happened at the UWA show here. 78 rated match event. Mr. Perfect defeated Octagon to retain the UWA World Heavyweight title. 84. So they've done a far better show than WCW did in terms of the overall rating anyway. They're not using... So Blitzkrieg is someone I was hoping we could bring in for a one-shot deal, maybe at RWR 100, but it's looking unlikely at this point. Although, maybe if I offer them if I see if I can build up let's just see if we can build up a relationship with them that kind of just allows us to do a talent swap or some kind of thing where we can so we've adopted a friendly attitude towards them. They're going to be too big, I think, for us to do any kind of talent trade with them, but I guess you never know, because Michael Modest is also there, and both of those two I would very much appreciate being able to bring back, especially for a one-shot deal at RWR 100. But it might not be possible. They might not be interested in that, and they might not be available. And if that's the case, well, there's nothing I can do about it. But yeah, that would be cool if we could bring them in to do a bit of a nostalgia hit for that 100th show. That would be really cool. I didn't show you where we are with Chris Harris now. Current prestige is up to 36, so he continues to grow the prestige of this title with his title run here. Obviously defeated Batista for the title, then defended against Cedar Anderson, Rex King, Teddy Hart, and now Kimo. And today he'll be up against Phantasma for his 5th title defense. And that is the end of our show today. We're going to be bringing you Pushing the Senses when we come back in our next episode, during which we've got a number of big matches. And then we'll obviously continue to progress. But until then, thank you very much for watching.